Welcome to the Best Counsel, aka Advice I Can Offer podcast. First, I would like to make the following disclaimer. This is not an advice podcast. I do not offer advice. I offer what I consider to be counsel. Counsel is what I have learned and what I have experienced in my life journey. If something I say on this podcast resonates with you and can help you, good. But I am not telling you what to do. I am just offering counsel. Welcome to episode 05 of the Best Counsel, aka Advice I Can Offer. Today's episode is entitled, Memphis Changed My Life. Memphis Changed My Life. It's still hard to believe that over 35 years have passed since a preacher out of Chicago, who I knew nothing about, changed my life. This preacher who changed my life was named Jeremiah Wright. Some of you may recognize that name. For those who don't, Jeremiah Wright was President Barack Obama's pastor before he became president. But long before he became known as President Obama's former pastor, he preached 2 sermons at a ministerial retreat in Memphis, Tennessee that I attended. Those sermons not only transformed my understanding of what preaching is, but they changed my life. In one of the sermons, Pastor Wright told a story about a young girl. He had heard about this young girl from another preacher named O.C. Patterson. Patterson had grew up with this young girl. Patterson said when this young girl was born, her parents made a choice. When the girl was born, she was born with no arms. The parents immediately knew they had one of 2 choices. They could choose to let this girl live in the slum of self-pity and poor me, or they could encourage her to live in a palace of self-confidence and possibility. Her parents chose the palace. Patterson said by the time this girl was a teenager, she was a living legend. Anything a person with arms could do, she could do with her feet. She could write, draw. She even learned to drive a car. It was said that when she would attend social events, she would often observe people staring at her empty sleeves. Patterson said she would politely approach people who were staring and introduce herself to them. She would first tell them her name, and then she would look them in the eyes and say, "I was born with no arms. That's my challenge. What's yours?" This story helped to teach me the reality that in some way we are all born with some kind of challenge. For some, the challenge is being born simply a woman. For some, it's being born a person of color. For some, it's being born into a family that is economically deprived. In other words, poor. For some, it's being born into an abusive family. For many, it's simply physical handicap of some type. The gift of this story for me is that it taught me that despite whatever circumstance we are born into, we have the power to overcome that circumstance. At some point, we all have the power to make a choice, to turn our problem into a challenge. Not only the problem of our birth, but we have the power to be able to confront every problem we face every day with the power of the choice to turn it into a challenge. Someone once said, your attitude will determine your altitude. Every day, we are confronted with a choice about our circumstance, and it's up to us to make the choice. Are we being confronted with a problem or a challenge? It is my hope that we choose to stop living in the slums of self-pity and poor me, and choose, like this young girl, to live in a palace of confidence and possibility. We are all going to face problems almost every day of our lives, but instead of a problem, let's choose to confront them as challenges, knowing that we can overcome any problem that confronts us as a challenge. I hope we no longer look at the problem as something sent to destroy us, but as a challenge that will help to create us into the persons we are purposed to be. A problem or a challenge? The choice is in your hands. I hope something that I have shared has resonated with you in some way. And if so, why don't you share it with someone you care about? Also, get in touch with us at thebestcounsel.com or follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. And also follow us at the Real Family First Day Instagram. Take care.